Level 1. You're in your kitchen when the knock comes. It is not the friendly small-town knock you expect. It is frantic, wet. You open the door, and the man who lives next to you is standing there with a trash bag pressed to his chest. Blood darkens the plastic. His hands are shaking so badly the bag trembles. He blinks at you like someone seeing light for the first time. He says 3 words. Can you help? Your heart stabs against your ribs. You barely get a breath out before he steps inside. He slams the door, bolts it, and you realize he has been pacing the hall for minutes or hours. You have to decide in one heartbeat whether to shut him out or to listen. You say yes. He collapses. Cliffhanger. What he confesses next will make you wish you had slammed the door. Level 2. He tells you the story in fragments. They were arguing, he says. He insists it was an accident. He keeps apologizing to the bag. He says the name of the person you both know, the one who always borrowed tools and never paid back. You have seen that name on holiday cards and on the mailbox. You have shared small talk over the fence. Why did the fight spiral? You ask. He looks at you like you have asked the wrong question. He says the word that makes your stomach drop. Blackmail. Someone had pressured him for money. Someone had threatened something he could not lose. He tells it quick now, too fast, words tumbling. A shove, a fall, a head against the countertop. You try to picture it. You try to hear the sound of a skull hitting tile. He says he did not mean to. He says he cannot go to the police. You can already smell the fear on him, and something else, a hint of desperation, cliffhanger. He wants you to hide the body. What do you say? You only have seconds. Level 3. You take the bag because your hands are shaking, and yours are the only hands in the room that are steady enough to hold a secret. He gives you a key to the shed behind his house. You know the shed. You have mowed around it. You have hung lights on its eaves. He whispers where to put the body and how to make it disappear. You walk through your yard carrying a dead weight, and the moon stabs through the clouds like an accusation. Your neighbor walks beside you, too close, talking about ordinary things to cover the silence. At the shed, locked. The lock is new. He fumbles with the key, knocks, opens. Inside, smell hits you first. Damp earth, oil, something old and metallic. There is a space in the floor boarded over with warped planks. He lifts a plank with hands that are no longer shakable but automatic. You slide the bag into the dark. You help him nail the planks back down because you cannot say no with your hands full of fear. Cliffhanger. As you hammer, someone walks past the yard. Footsteps. Pauses. Listens. Level 4. The footsteps stop at your fence. You hold the hammer until your knuckles go white. Light from a porch sweeps over the yard. A woman calls your name. She sounds like she is inviting you to a barbecued meal. Your neighbor freezes. You have coffee on your breath and crime under your nails. You laugh when she waves and call back. Your voice is flat and too loud. She chats about nothing, about a dog, about the rain last week. You nod, answer, keep your tone steady. The neighbor beside you breathes an even rhythm now. When the light moves on, both of you exhale and look at each other like conspirators. You drive him home because he cannot walk straight. In the car, he says he will pay you back. He says this is only temporary. You watch your hands on the wheel and wonder what permanent looks like. Cliffhanger. The next morning, a police car is parked 2 houses down. Level 5. You hear sirens even in your sleep now. Officer lights shimmer through your blinds like underwater predators. You pretend to be asleep while watching them through the slats. A woman upstairs is crying. Your phone buzzes with a text from someone you do not want to answer. You learn the dead man was reported missing by a family member. The neighborhood is a coil tightening around you. You think you are invisible. You are wrong. The police start asking questions at random. Have you seen him? When did you see him last? Did you hear anything? Your voice sounds different when you lie. It sounds smaller. They ask about your neighbor. He is nervous. He has excuses, orders of magnitude worse than before. You realize you are standing on a bridge, and the water below is getting higher. Cliffhanger. That night, your neighbor calls and begs you to come over. He says there is a problem. Level 6. You arrive to find a second bag in the shed. Another name folded into disaster, another body you did not know they were capable of. Your neighbor insists this new discovery is not his doing. He says someone else is involved, someone who knows both dead men. He points fingers, but nobody is innocent in the story he paints. You argue, you plan. You argue some more because planning is a way to keep panic from eating you. You start to suspect you are in the middle of a trap, or a cover-up, or something that grows teeth. A text arrives from an unknown number. Stop helping, or there will be consequences. Your hands drop to your phone like a guilty secret. You want to run. You want to scream. You want to tell the police everything. The choice splits open: save yourself or sink with him. Cliffhanger. You decide to investigate before making a final choice. You will find out who is really pulling the strings. Level 7. You follow a lead to a storage unit 3 towns over. A light is on inside at midnight. Someone is moving inside. You hide behind a van and watch a figure unload boxes. The boxes are labeled with the same company that both dead men worked for. You tail the figure when they leave. They notice you. For a second, your eyes meet. They smile. Not a friendly smile. An assessment. You lose them in a diner. Inside the diner, someone knows your neighbor's name and your face. You learn the company paid off hush money to more than one person. There are voices in the conversation that mention debts, ledgers, threats. Every revelation points back to a clean, polished lobby downtown and an executive who never dirties his hands. You realize this is bigger than backyard anger. This is a machine. Cliffhanger. On your way home, your tires are slashed. Level 8. Your neighbor blames himself and blames everyone else in the same breath. He becomes messier, more dangerous. He starts disappearing at odd hours. You find evidence in his trash that changes everything. A receipt for a motel 2 towns over at the exact time the second victim vanished. You confront him. He says the motel was for a meeting he set up to push someone away. You see guilt and calculation in his face. You cannot tell which is deeper. A man shows up outside your house one night and slides a photograph under your gate. It shows you leaving his shed carrying a bag. You read the message on the back. We have friends in the right places. Now someone can prove you were there. Now someone can push you where you cannot come back. Cliffhanger. The police knock at your door the next day. They are not asking for you. They are asking for your neighbor, level 9. You have to make a decision with an hourglass running in your head. Turn him in and hope for immunity. Stay and keep lying and hope your theater holds. Run and try to start over. Your neighbor calls from a payphone. He sounds thinner each time. He begs you to take the blame. He says he will disappear. He says he will leave you money. You imagine prison bars, courts, a child looking for answers you cannot give. You imagine him walking away while you rot. But when you picture turning him in, you see the polished executive smiling in a courtroom and walking free. You decide to force a confession from the man at the top. You will trap him with his own ledger. You break into the company office at night. Your pulse is a drum in your ears. You find a file that links payments to names. Your flashlight carves through the darkness. You are about to copy a page when footsteps slam the corridor, someone coming back early. Cliffhanger. You hide behind a filing cabinet and hear a voice you did not expect. Level 10. The voice belongs to the executive. He is not alone. He talks on the phone about cleanup crews and loyalty. Beneath his voice, you hear your neighbors laugh. Your blood becomes ice. They say your name casually. Your neighbor calls you a liability. The executive orders something you cannot unhear. You slip from the building and leave with a copy of the ledger. It is heavy in your bag. Heavier than a crime should feel. You plan to go to the police with it, and everything will finally be made right. You drive to the station, hands steady, ledger burning a hole against your thigh. Halfway there, your phone rings. The screen flashes a number you do not recognize. A calm voice says, "Stop, pull over, come out with your hands up, and we will take care of you." It is the executive. The radio in your car switches to a police channel, and a voice announces a stolen vehicle in your area. Your stomach drops. You look in the rear view and see headlights closing fast. You floor the gas. Tires scream. You run a light. A patrol car blocks the road. They are waiting with guns drawn. You slow, hands up, heart ready to break. But the officer who steps out is the woman who lives 2 doors down. She looks at you with a kindness you have never seen on a uniformed face. She whispers, "Get in the car. Trust me, you do." She drives you to a safe house. She tells you everything. How she was an internal affairs detective undercover, how she had been following the executive for months. Your neighbor had been a reluctant pawn, blackmailed into quieter crimes. The 2 dead men were evidence of a larger scheme to silence employees. You hand over the ledger. The detective smiles the way a hunter smiles at a trap closing. Cliffhanger. You think it is over. It is not. You open your phone and there is one last message from your neighbor. It reads, "I could not run. I sent a location. Unexpected ending." You go to the GPS ping. It leads you not to a motel or a dump, but to the backyard of your own house. Your neighbor is sitting on your steps, hands empty, face calmer than you've seen in weeks. He confesses everything in a whisper. He says he could not live with what he had done. He says he staged his own arrest with the executive to draw you out. He says he sacrificed himself because the ledger was not enough. He wanted to atone in a way he could control. Police cars arrive. Officers move like rehearsed shadows. You expect them to cuff him and take him away. Instead, they sit him down. They listen. He tells a full story, not the fragments you were given. He explains how the company threatened both men, how his fear turned to violence, how guilt hollowed him. The executive is hauled in. He had planned to flee. The ledger was the hook, but the confession was the net. You watch your neighbor placed in the back of a cruiser. He looks at you like someone returning a borrowed thing. You are left on the step counting the cost. You made a choice to help. You made a chain of decisions that pulled at everyone around you. The detective takes you aside and asks if you would tell your story. You realize by choosing to hide a body, you dragged yourself into a truth nobody else had the courage to face. Final twist. Months later, when things are quieter, you receive a letter from prison. Your neighbor writes that he remembers the night differently. He writes that when he forced your hand, he was trying to protect a secret that was his alone. He writes that someone else was in the yard the night you buried the first body, someone who watched and then walked away. You look through old photos and find one you never noticed before, a shadow in the background, leaning against a mailbox, smiling. You realize you never saw the whole picture. You realize truth is more complicated than right and wrong. The moral question remains open and heavy. When someone asks you to hide a body, what would you do? And if you choose to help, who else will you become? You sit with that question until the next knock at your door.